What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Multiverse of Fandom podcast with me and Dimo.
What's up, everybody?
Today we are on a remote podcast because of a blizzard happening. So we wanted to hop on Zoom and still get something out to you guys this week.
What's going on, everybody? We're live from the gutter tonight. straight from the OG.
Yeah, seriously. There is a pretty good amount of stuff to talk about today, and some exciting things that we're going to get a little bit deeper into, and then some things that we just want to touch upon this week. And one of do we want to start with the biggest one, or do we want to lead into it? What do you want to do?
The biggest one.
Okay, the biggest thing this week, and I think a lot of people can agree, is Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was. I remember I started it, and I saw Mando. I'm like, wait, did I start season 2 by accident? Like,
did you not notice though? Did you not realize that the very end of the 4th episode of Boba, when she goes like, "We need muscle," his music started playing.
It was that's right.
Yeah, so they kind of like teased it in that they teased it at the end of that episode, but I don't think anybody was expecting him to be, 50 minutes of just Mando. You'd assume maybe like halfway through they find him or whatever. That's what I was expecting, at least.
I thought overall very, very good episode. Particularly, I don't know where the space station scenes with the city that was kind of on the
on that like rim or something.
The curved platform. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Really enjoyed that.
Dude, I love the opening scene where he was like at the bounty, and he's like, "I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold," and then he brings out the dark saber.
It was classic.
The dark saber was so cool.
He's really like a really, really good callback to like the original Cowboys, and there's like a lot of that. I'm pretty sure the show was based off of like an old Western.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you get that vibe, Western especially story. When you see Mando. You kind of see it too in like elements of Boba and like Boba Fett, because it's it's that Tatooine, and it's on Tatooine, but it's like that old like Western town vibe kind of thing.
Well, I think the thing to remember is I feel like Mando is more Mandalorian than Boba Fett is.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I don't know too much about the Fett clan lore from Mandalore. That rhymes. But it just seems like, because Boba takes his helmet off all the time, and we saw Mando take his helmet off, or in the episode.
Yeah, they ask,
what's her name, was like, have you ever taken your helmet off? And he admitted to taking it off once. Mm-hmm. And like Boba could care less. He takes his helmet off all the time. I think his father, I think Django kind of instilled on him this, like, and he even quotes it too, like, I'm just a bounty hunter trying to make my way in the universe.
Yeah, that's what I think, because they always say that. So I'm looking it up right now, and it says the clan Fett was an ancient Mandalorian clan that could trace its lineage back as far as Mandalorian wars. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really say, but I'm pretty sure like Boba himself has said, like, I'm not, in season 2 maybe of Mandalorian, he's like, I'm not like a Mandalorian. He was like, this armor was my father's, and it belongs to me or whatever.
Yeah. There's a lot there for Mando. If you've ever seen, did you ever finish the Clone Wars series?
No, not yet. No,
it's really big. There's a lot of parts that are like really that drag, but there's a few really good Boba episodes where he's still pretty young, and I think that's really cool. They should really do. I don't know how they would do it. Maybe it would have to be animated, but they should do something where like he becomes Boba Fett. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see him like kind of rise into that role, that bounty hunter role.
Exactly.
You're gonna get like a you see is it Clone Wars where he's holding the helmet, his Jango Fett's helmet. I think it was
Mace Windu cut his head off.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of see that, and then there's that like I I see that on, it's like a meme kind of where the ship is Jango Fett's ship is flying away and Boba is in like the room or whatever. So
Yeah.
there's like, you kind of see it's like they can definitely play along with a origin story, like an actual origin story for Boba, because they set these like things up where he had like a maybe like a difficult upbringing, obviously, because his dad's head was cut off and
Yeah.
probably all the missions he went on as like a bounty hunter. So it'd definitely be an interesting story.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot to unpack in the Mandalore sort of world with the dark saber.
We got every time we see those other Mandalorians, every time we see them in, because obviously we see them more in the Mandalorian, they always talk about history on Mandalore, and it's so
Yeah.
interesting. And I'm like excited to see kind of more of that if they continue it in Mandalorian, or if there is eventually like maybe spin-offs or something. But it's so interesting to see how they talk about the dark saber, and like they obviously know that it's needs to be won in combat, like trial by combat or whatever. And then it was interesting to see that, or to hear them say that if the dark saber isn't won in battle, then it curses all of Mandalore and its people. And it's said that the people of Mandalore will be scattered across the galaxy until
Mm.
until it's brought back into the right hands or whatever. So clearly that was that like story or like prophecy, whatever you want to call it, was when um Moff Gideon had the dark saber, because he must have just like taken the dark saber, and then that's what happened to all the men. Like Mandalore fell after that, and then all the Mandalorians were now scattered. So it's pretty interesting.
I mean, the person that created the dark saber, I don't know if they're 100% Mandalorian, but it happened thousands of years before the movies,
Mm-hmm.
before the show, before the prequels, everything. But they were in it. They were inducted as a Jedi. The person that created it,
Yeah,
which is cool because that just there's a connection between the Mandalorians and the Jedi.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And there isn't the same for the Sith. I think that's pretty cool. And here we have this dark saber that's like he wasn't a Sith, but Moff Gideon was, of the Empire,
of the Empire. Yeah,
the dark side, whatever. So I think that's pretty cool.
that is pretty cool.
Um,
I also
but
liked.
I
What were you gonna say?
was just say I agree with you. I like the lineage of it. Like you can't just pick it up and use it.
Yeah,
You have to win it.
exactly. You have to win
Otherwise,
it.
it's not the same.
Yeah, and then I also liked how they kept talking about how the dark saber was heavy. Like he goes with each
Yeah.
swing, it keeps getting heavier.
Yeah.
And there was a scene like that I think one of the Clone Wars, or I think it was Clone Wars, maybe Rebels, I don't know. But it was like a scene where another character who had the dark saber also said that the dark saber keeps getting heavier, and the
Yeah.
person that was like training her was telling her that the harder you fight the sword or the saber, the harder it is to wield. Like you need to kind of move with the saber and fight with it instead of against it. And that's kind of what was told to Mando about the dark
Mm.
saber as well. And it's also interesting because obviously you just said that the Jedi and the person who made it was a Jedi and Mandalorian. And then now Luke is in the mix. We're getting an Ahsoka show, Obi-Wan show. We could potentially
Kenobi,
see Mando.
that's the next one right there.
Oh yeah,
Kenobi.
we could potentially see Mando maybe getting trained by a Jedi to understand the saber more.
Do not rule out Sam Jackson making an appearance because he hinted at it in some Instagram or Twitter post a while back, but it can
Really,
totally happen.
dude, that'd be so cool.
It's very far-fetched. He's lost his hands, but if something or someone catches him from when he's falling off the Palpatine's office ledge.
Yeah. Well, he's lost his hands, yeah, but Luke lost his hand and he got the replacement. He got the upgrade kind
Exactly.
of thing. So, you never
So
know. Mace Windu
it's very
could have
possible.
both.
And dude, Mace Windu with like a beard, an old man,
I mean, just make him
and he
look
wants
like
revenge.
just make him look like how Nick Fury looks in Secret Wars, and you're basically good.
Yeah. Secret Invasion.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, Secret
Why
Invasion.
why did they change the name? I don't like Secret War sounds better.
I think
It
Secret
rolls off the
Wars is
tongue.
like I don't know, honestly, I don't know. And
Secret
there's
Invasion.
probably
Why they're trying
another
to be
there's probably another storyline, but I don't know. We probably don't know it.
okay.
But it would be interesting because obviously Grogu's off with the Jedi right now, and he has the Beskar
He made some
staff.
armor, right?
He has the Beskar staff
That's
made.
that was curious. I was like, what?
So it's kind of confusing to me because well, I'll get to that in a second, but he has the other Mandalorian make the armor out of the Beskar staff for Grogu because he wants to go see him. And
Mhm.
so obviously we're clearly going to get like another interaction with Mando and Grogu clearly.
Which means
And
we're gonna get an interaction between Luke.
which was yeah, is likely you're going to get an interaction between Luke, which is why
Yeah.
I'm thinking it makes sense that he would Mando would maybe get trained by the Jedi to use the dark saber. And you maybe you get like a Grogu and Mando kind of like training sequences or something, which would be pretty interesting.
I've said this for a while. It was some of the best Star Wars in terms of video games that I've played, or just in general, like storyline wise. Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, which by the way, they're $5 each on the PSN,
Oh, really?
and you get like yeah, it's worth it. I would say. I don't think you can play multiplayer anymore, but the single player campaign with Academy specifically, with the Jedi Academy that Luke runs, there's a lot of stuff they could do there with Mark Hamill or with Sebastian Stan. They could. I would
Yeah.
love to see them through this.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely love to see Sebastian Stan. That's like such like a cool because obviously I feel like Mark Hamill definitely wants to do as much as he can in this Star Wars universe because he loves he definitely loves Luke so much and he loves all the characters that he does, but it's probably you could just get it Sebastian Stan in there. That's pretty epic.
I mean, you could do something where Sebastian Stan they use him to as like the being, like the human, and then they don't have to dub over his voice, but they can use Mark Hamill to like they did it with Bane's voice in The Dark Knight Rises, where they keep
Yeah.
both audio, the original, and then they overlay it with another, the same exact line. I think that would be cool because then it's gonna sound like Hamill. It's gonna look almost like him with like you can CGI his face too.
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
that
be
would be
cool.
cool.
That would be really cool. Um, but the what about the fight scene? The fight scene between Mando and I forget the other Mandalorian's name, but
I thought he was gonna lose.
I did too. That was
I thought he was
cool.
gonna lose because he kept stabbing him with whatever the F that thing was.
Yeah. But it's like even for the other Mandalorian, the dark saber was so heavy to hold. Like they
Yeah.
were they were both like trying to like muscle it up kind of thing. So it was a really like cool fight scene because
I think we already talked about this, but I think that the thing is it's the same for a lightsaber too. I
yeah.
believe it's supposed to be really heavy. I don't know if it's as heavy as the dark saber, but that holds true for this for the lightsaber as well.
It is, yeah. I mean, well, it does make sense too because the Jedi slash Mandalorian did make it, so you're obviously going to have those similarities to it. But I think it's just like a really interesting concept that now we will because we're obviously going to have to see Mando get better with the dark saber as time goes on
Mm.
because there's obviously going to be challengers that are going to try to take it from him. So he's going to have to he's going to have to really learn how to use the dark saber if that's going to be his weapon of choice.
It would be interesting to see Luke training Mando with the dark saber.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it would be really cool. Just him and Grogu
That would
training together with the Jedi.
that would be really that would it's like one of those break the internet moments
Oh yeah,
that
for
you,
sure.
that you look
Well,
for.
I mean, like for me, this whole episode was a break the internet moment because like I kept seeing it on Twitter. It was like I didn't know how much I missed Mando until I saw Mando. Like
Yeah,
We have Boba Fett now, but the Boba Fett, this was by hands down by far the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and it was a whole episode on Mando.
I I don't see. Here's the thing. I've enjoyed the series thus far. I think the last episode, the one before this, maybe the one before that weren't as good. The second episode of this series was dynamite. The raid on the train,
Oh no, like
fantastic.
I think Boba Fett is like like overall I really enjoy the series. I like it, but in terms of like just how it made me feel, this episode just took the cake.
Yeah,
So like so far, we still
I
have one more, but
you can see what they're trying to do. They're blending everything together, which I like,
yeah,
because I wasn't quite sure how they were going to get back to Mando, but now it's pretty clear that okay, Mandalorian is the set piece.
yeah, definitely.
Boba Fett is a, I wouldn't say supporting cast, but he's like a supporting pillar, I think, to this whole story. What would be really cool to see is how they're planning on doing the other shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Obi-Wan, from what the actor said, why am I blanking on it? It's Ewan McGregor. He said that it's a standalone, so it's one season. From what we know, that may change. I mean, we'd love it to change, but
yeah,
I don't know
definitely.
how much you could film with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, because at some point he has to go into hiding completely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where the Ahsoka show is going to fit in, you know, it's clearly going Mando 1, 2, then the Boba Fett, then they'll jump to Mando season 3. It's
Yeah.
got to be how it is.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll have Boba Fett in season 3 too.
I think so too. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Book of Boba Fett was only a one season show. They don't continue that for multiple seasons. But
Yeah.
I'm also kind of in the boat of Mandalorian finishing after season 3, and then him
Yeah.
kind of being used as what he was right now in Boba, as a they bring him back for a few episodes, like he's here and there, like throughout the galaxy, and you see him every once in a while. Him and Grogu maybe, because we obviously know that in the new trilogy, the new movies, they're not in it. So and Luke's considered the last Jedi, so maybe Grogu doesn't continue with his training, whatever, but who knows? I think because
What did you think of the directing? Because the fans are like petitioning online for this director to get her own Star Wars trilogy of movies.
I mean, I thought it was a great episode, and I thought I see, for me it was like I thought the vision for it, kind of what was needed to be done for it to make sense with Boba, but also what kind of helped it, I think, was that it wasn't just like oh, here's Mando, he's been doing bounties, like he's still thinking about Grogu, he still has these problems with the dark saber.
Mhm.
um like Mandalorians are, it was only one, but a Mandalorian challenged him for the saber, he's going through all of this stuff, still wants to, like, missing Grogu. I thought that it was like so well done, where we don't need to waste time now, for the first episode of season 3 doing all this over again. Like I feel like that episode was so well rounded, where we kind of get the idea of what Mando's been up to, and now we can just continue his story once we get into season 3.
I think it's a perfect way to go into season 3, and that's probably that was their goal from the beginning, was to take a break from Mando and bring back Boba Fett, but not all Boba Fett, because they still have to finish the Mandalorian story.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be kind of like a prequel to season 3, and I wouldn't be surprised if Boba Fett stayed on in season 3, or maybe he just makes like an appearance in a couple of episodes, because like now he's got a network. You know what I mean? He's got a buddy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, now it kind of, so just to transition a little towards the end of the episode, but we got a Mando's upgraded ship, and it
Yeah,
was
there's a lot of speculation around what is
the
exactly.
N1, but I think it has to be Anakin's ship.
I don't
Uh,
know. I mean, I'd like it to be. It seems like it's too easy. I feel like it's a tease from what's his name? Favreau
yeah,
and that crew. Um, but like a nice tease, because it gets you thinking. I think my first thought was when I saw that canyon, like, is that the same canyon that
it
Anakin drove
was,
through during the
it
pod
was,
race?
yeah.
Yeah. So, did we confirm that before?
What, that it was the canyon?
The canyon?
So it was because if you remember one of the turns he's taking where he passes over the Womp Rat. Do you remember that? So to the right on the screen to the right, it was the you on the ground, there was still the wood that Anakin drove through when he had to go on the and took that jump. So that wood was like still on the ground. And they said it was what was it called? Beggar's Canyon or something?
Yeah.
Because she says go through, like, follow the two suns and you'll get to Beggar's Canyon.
That's crazy. Initially, the reason why I didn't recognize it was because most of them, you remember them being yellow.
Yes.
Right. And the scene with the two the rebel cops, I thought was pretty good because that was a callback to what, season 1?
Season 1, when season 1, I
one,
think, when he went with when we first see what was his name, Bill Burr, and they go to break the guy out of prison, which was one of my I think that was my favorite episode in season 1. So that was pretty cool.
Season 2, you mean?
Was it season 2?
But with Gina Carano,
was she in
and
it?
They were on the. You're talking about the train, right? From season 2 when they were not the train with the big tanks.
No. I'm talking about the where they went to that, like, rebels prison transport. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure that was season 2.
Oh, okay. Then
I'm pretty sure, unless he was in season 1 and I'm misremembering.
I don't remember, to be honest. I thought it was season 1, but I could be wrong. But that whatever
he was
season
in chapter 6, chapter 14, and chapter 15. So he did make an appearance in season 1.
I thought so. So yeah, that episode. That episode was amazing. But yeah, I think that was the callback to that episode with that X-wing pilot, because that was pretty cool that he recognized the voice, and then he just jumps into hyperspeed without even moving. Like, that was so cool.
He's like, should we follow? Nah. No, I remember the prisoner. Yeah, I remember that. That was a good episode.
Yeah, that was a good one. Good.
I forgot about him in that one.
Yeah. That was because that was when who else was in it? He was in Sons of Anarchy. I forget his name though. I think he was also in that episode.
Oh yeah, Mark Boone Jr.
We saw him at Comic-Con, remember?
We saw that guy, dude.
He was with Packer. He was with Todd Packer. In line, yeah.
By the way, Packer got arrested.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Got arrested for
Office
public
fans.
drunkenness or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, that's right. We saw that guy. Yeah, I forgot about that. He just plays the same character.
Yeah, what else is he gonna do?
Yeah, he gets the roles.
Yeah, exactly. But what were we saying? Oh yeah, it was like that callback to that season 1 and stuff. The Phantom Menace. You got a callback to Phantom Menace. we got callbacks to to a lot of things in this episode, which was really cool.
A lot of fan service.
Hell yeah. And then so it's kind of confusing to me because this is what I wanted to bring up earlier, but we see Fennec at the end, and she obviously recruits Mando to help Boba with the Pikes, and we get a Pike. They talk about the Pikes a little bit in this episode as well, that they're kind of like taking over. And so he says, like, I need to visit a little friend first. So are we going to see Grogu in the finale? Is he going to go to, because what does this mean now? Are they gonna deal with Boba's problem first, or are they gonna go to get Grogu and then bring him in and they're gonna help? It's very interesting and very exciting to see.
I mean, I think they have a lot of options, and they're not options in the sense like, oh, they could go this way, they could go that way. They have like 2 or 3 different ways they can go with this, and any way they go right now I think would be very good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whether they decide to link everything up, or even if the Mandalorian doesn't go back to Grogu, which I don't think that's likely, because I think Grogu is a really popular character, and I think a lot of people want to see what he's doing with Luke. And I'd be honest with you, I don't think a Luke series is off the table.
I don't either.
They put themselves in a position to it's a good problem to have, to kind of pick what their next success is.
But my kind of like thought for this though is, how are they gonna is like kind of how are they gonna, structure the season finale, because it seems like there's gonna be a lot of content that's gonna happen in this show.
It's got to be at least an hour long.
Because this episode was long. This one was 51 minutes. That was the longest of the season so far.
This has to be at least an hour.
It has to be, right? Like that's what I'm thinking. But we always say that.
I'm hoping for like an hour 10.
That would be
an
great.
Hour 10 would be perfect.
That would be perfect because I feel like there's just so much information and so much kind of things that are unfolding. We need to see what happens with Boba, the Mayor, and the Pikes. Mando talked about Grogu. So it's two things, big things that are going to be taking place. So it's kind of, how is that going to take place? I'm interested. I'm interested to see how they're going to put it all together. Obviously, it's going to be great, but I just can't wait.
A few more days,
Wednesday, yeah. But yeah, no, it was a great episode. So I can't wait for the finale. And then hopefully soon enough, we'll get an announcement for the premiere of Mando season 3, when that's going to happen. I'd assume in the fall, but fingers crossed we get it earlier.
Well, I don't know, man. It's because we don't have a Kenobi release date yet. I hope it's May.
I think it has to be. It was like a soft confirmation that it was going to be May 4th, which is like, May
4th, yeah.
Star Wars Day. But I don't think that was
remember.
Official.
I don't know if that's official or not.
I think that was just a rumor, but there, because so Boba's now, and Boba finishes now. What's after this? Moon Knight is the next big one.
Moon Knight, yep.
Moon Knight. So then after that, most likely you'd say has got to be Kenobi. So we'll see. We will see. But moving on, there was now
the Flash.
Yeah, so it has now been reported that the Flash prequel comic is going to be 3 issues, which is so funny to me because it releases, I believe, in April. Oh wait, maybe not. It says first, so the first issue releases on April 26th, 2022, with 2 remaining issues releasing in a monthly format. And then a 3-issue collection. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's 3 issues. So we get the first one in April, then the next month, and the next month. So, which is kind of surprising to me because they must be, in my opinion, they must be a bigger issue. Like there has to be a decent amount of information in this comic,
I still can't believe they're doing this.
It's because they rush everything. It's Warner Brothers. We talked about it last week.
Now we have to go and read some. I'm not fucking reading it. We
already told you. I'm gonna read them, and we'll go through.
I get my information through a third party.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna read them, and then we'll break them down on the podcast every month when they come out. But it has to be like a giant size issue, I feel like, for them to be kind of putting their eggs in this basket and saying we're going the route of doing a prequel comic. You have to, fill in those plot holes that are clearly going to arise in the movie for people, or for you if you didn't do this comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 20 pages, or I think a comic standard is like 23 pages ish. So if you're getting around 60 to 70 pages of a comic book, that's not that many. That's not that much, that's not that much information.
I feel like it's just going to be like a companion. You know what I mean? Like they used to do this all the time back in the day when like the original Star Wars Clone Wars animated series. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Ever seen it? It's like 3 hours long. Fantastic. Gennady Tartakovsky was the creator for that. He did Samurai Jack and a bunch of others. That was a companion to episode 3, Star Wars, because it bridged the gap between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And then they went back and realized that they could tell a lot more, and they did. But anyways, they were like 15 to 18 minute episodes.
Yeah.
cartoons, and there was 2 seasons, but they were very brief, and they aired them all on Cartoon Network, Toonami, at very 7, 8 o'clock at night before episode 3. I watched them live, but that was cool because you had something that you could show people that everybody could see. I don't think this is a good idea because not everyone's gonna go out and read them.
Not at all, dude. Not at all. I laugh so much because like I know so many people that are gonna watch this movie. People, and even people that have watched the Ben Affleck movie, like the Snyder's movies with Ben Affleck, who watched Keaton's movie. The people that grew up on that, or people that even just watched it when they were younger, Batman 1989. Like they're not going to be like, oh yeah, let me go read a comic book before I watch this movie. Like that's not going to be on their minds.
People want to watch something. People want to be entertained.
Yeah,
the era of entertainment.
Nobody, be like, a lot of people. There's a difference, in my opinion, between we'll call them casual viewers, and then the actual like comic book DC fans. And for Marvel, I 100% would call myself like a casual viewer, because I don't I didn't, or I don't read the Marvel, like a lot of Marvel comics. I read some, but like not any that would make me know so much about it. Like a lot of my research and a lot of my knowledge comes from the MCU movies, the movies that have come out, any Marvel movie that has come out, and then like what I Google. That's kind of my knowledge. So I would kind of consider myself like a more casual viewer when it comes to MCU stuff, like Marvel. But like DC, I consider myself to be a little bit more like expert level, if you want to call it that.
Because you read the books.
I read the like all the books. You too, you read so many books. Like you read all like a lot of the New 52 stuff when that was coming out, and then now buying stuff. Like we've read a lot more of that stuff. So you're not going to reach that many people. You even said you're not going to read it. Like, so you wouldn't get any of the information if I wasn't going to read it and tell you. So it's just such a bad look for Warner Brothers, especially when they're going to rush a movie that could be so successful for DC.
I hope a lot of people are talking about it, and maybe they can catch wind and like delay this a little bit and fix. I don't know I don't know what you fix. Maybe it's too late to fix, but
I don't think, delaying it. What can it do at this point? You'd have to, like we've said it before, for them to fix it, they need to push this movie back like 3 years and do 2 movies before this. Like this is Flashpoint. This isn't like some little, or we don't know if it's Flashpoint. Like it's most likely going to be like some sort of Flashpoint story if they're going to be doing a soft reboot, but it's not just like let's put this in a movie. And this is like big. No. This Flashpoint, in my eyes, and hopefully other people's eyes too, so I don't sound like an idiot saying this, but like in my eyes, Flashpoint seems kind of like an Endgame or Infinity War level type movie.
It's pretty big. And unfortunately, DC Marvel it's not a luxury because they did things the right way, but they planned everything out right. They made a bunch of movies that all were interconnected through a series of end credits and drops in the actual movie that led up to Infinity War and then ultimately Endgame.
Yeah.
And what do we really have to link up to this movie? You know what I mean? And that's why they're scrambling to make comic books and to plug the holes that, had they had one more production meeting, 2 more production meetings, and had the right people in there that weren't idiots, maybe we'd have a successful DC and successful Marvel universe. Because we don't hate Marvel.
No, not at all.
We want to see the real content, the nice content.
Yeah, exactly. We don't. Yeah, like you said, we do not hate Marvel, and we just hate Warner Brothers. We don't we don't hate Marvel. We don't hate DC. We hate Warner Brothers. We hate the studio that controls that property. Like Disney did a great job with Marvel. There are like Disney obviously is a little bit more like PG, that PG-13. So you can't get. There's a lot of Marvel fans that wish there were certain characters that were portrayed in a different way, but like because it's Disney, they're gonna kind of keep it to that big audience that they always do, which is fine. But It's
now that I think about it, maybe DC's ability to be darker than Marvel is kind of its downfall, because maybe you have it's easier to helm a Marvel cinematic universe because you know where the line is. But DC, the lines are blurred between what you can make and what you can't, because a lot of this content airs on the darker side some of the time.
See, I understand that, and I get that is like because it is a challenge to kind of play with that line for directors at DC, but we've seen it done before. Like Joker's a
Yeah,
prime
no,
example
they've
of
done it
that.
before.
Hopefully, the Batman is going to be another prime example of that. Even the Nolan trilogy is like a great example of that. It's kind of it's hard to say. You can't really just like because the directors obviously work hard on this. There's a bunch of people that work very hard on these movies, and they do care about these movies, but there seems to me in my eyes that there's a level of care in the MCU more than DC projects.
Yeah, I mean, from like the third or fourth movie, they kind of when did they start having end? Would they have end credit scene at the end of Iron Man?
They had an end credit scene at the end of the Hulk movie, pre Mark
Wow,
Ruffalo. That was the
there
first
you
with
there
Tony
you go,
Stark,
there you go.
2007, I believe it was.
It's
And
a they DC doesn't have an idea. It's like the Joker
well,
quote, like, "You think I have a plan?" Like they don't.
wait,
They're just
wait,
doing things
that
willy-nilly.
is amazing. I never even thought of that. That is so funny.
You know,
That's
it's like
literally Warner Brothers. That's literally Warner Brothers plan. They don't have one.
what was his quote? I'm just a dog chasing cars or something like that. You know what I
that's
mean?
that's so funny.
Uh, that's what they've been doing though, right? Like they'll nail something with the Joker and then they'll turn around and just completely like Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad was garbage.
Well, I mean,
You
even the
know,
second
and
Suicide Squad, it was definitely an upgrade. And I'm not hating on that movie because I definitely enjoyed it, but it could have, my whole thing. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast. Maybe we did during our Suicide Squad review, but for me, I wish that they did because I wish that they did things with villains that were in previous movies. You know what I mean? Like Cheetah was in Wonder Woman 1984, and then they kind of just threw her to the side. Nothing ever happened with her. And then we saw Black Manta in Aquaman. And then why can't he be in the Suicide Squad? Why can't why
Black Man is
can't
cool.
obviously we got Harley Quinn, which is fine because with her connection with the Joker, but you get Black Manta, you get Harley Quinn, you get the Cheetah, you get obviously we saw like Captain Boomerang and instances, so get him in there again. Like get characters or like make a couple more movies where you can get villains and then you can build that Suicide Squad. Instead, they just kind of threw random characters in and say, here, take this. And then you don't need to know their backstory or anything that's happened or why they're in prison. I still loved the movie. It was a huge upgrade from the first Suicide Squad, but I always like would rather prefer it that way. And that's the unplanned, the unorganization of Warner Brothers.
They just need one person to go in there and clean house.
Yeah. Well, I
There's
mean,
not
they're
one person.
still,
It's an entity.
are they still doing, or like, they're still kind of settling in with the merger with Discovery. So maybe that, maybe they're just kind of,
Discovery's not going to do anything.
well,
That
maybe they're just looking for that person that's going to say, listen, you go in there and you clean house. We'll give you the money.
I don't. I don't even know that one person's. You need an entity. You need like a collection of,
Why?
like three people
What does the
who are on
MCU
the same
have?
page.
The MCU is Kevin Feige. That's the head. Kevin Feige's the,
You're working with. I'm saying like you're working with like if Kevin Feige, and the MCU is are adults. The DC Studios, Warner's is adolescents at this point.
yeah, honestly, it's,
From what we've seen,
yeah,
I don't know. I think they need to sell, to be honest with you, at this point. Like it's getting close to that.
they're never gonna, but I would agree. And I would absolutely hate if they did that thing that like Marvel did where they sold certain characters or certain properties to different
Yeah,
studios.
no,
I would not want
this
them
is
to do
gonna
that.
it's just gonna make everything worse.
Yeah, no, definitely make it worse because I don't know. It's just freaking Warner Brothers, man. And then today or the other day, there's reports that Joker 2 with Joaquin Phoenix is going to start filming in 2023. I mean, to be honest with you, I just want to live in the universe where we're getting a Man of Steel 2 before a Joker 2.
Well, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. But the reason I say that, because obviously I'm happy we're gonna get a Joker 2, but Joker was the perfect movie, in my opinion. Like, that movie was so good. Just don't, like, you don't need to do anything else with it. I don't know. That's just, I could be alone here in this opinion. Like, people might be so excited for this, but I feel like Joker was just so well done, and the story was so his origin was kind of so just well done that you don't need to do anything else with it. You can have maybe Joaquin Phoenix show up in certain other things, but to give him another movie, I just feel like you run the risk of ruining what you've already made.
Yeah. I to be honest with you, I've never. I mean, I'll see it, but if you told me right now that there would never be another Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix and that whole crew, I'd say fine.
Yeah, I feel like what they did accomplished exactly what they tried to do. They did like such like a cool take on the character that we haven't seen before, and it was great.
Keep it. I mean, there's obviously a lot of money to be made, and I understand why they would want to, do another one of a movie that became popularized, and it also received a lot of media, and I don't know if it was like people scorning, but there was a lot of people talking about like the mental health awareness.
Yeah,
because the character that they had was someone like an actual mental health patient.
mm-hmm.
So I think there was a lot of press that was on that side of the movie as well. So I think, you right as you have it now, you have a really dark Joker movie, like a psychological thriller. You know what I mean? I wouldn't watch Joker on just any night. If I wanted to rewatch it, I would need to be in the right mood.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like, you don't watch Silence of the Lambs. Oh, I'll throw Silence of the Lambs on. I'm bored. You know what I mean?
I'm bored. It is like a guilty pleasure movie. Like, what?
The Dark Knight I have seen many times, and the Dark Knight borders, like, Joker went where the Dark Knight didn't, in terms of like a really, really a darker Joker, I think, on the dark side of the spectrum, all the way on the right. But I don't know can they replicate the same type of, can you make a sequel and not have it be all popcorny?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's kind of that's kind of my worry. But I mean, then there's also the possibilities of, because there was, I believe Willem Dafoe did an interview where he said he'd love to play like an imposter Joker or something. That would be cool, because then they have the material with the 3 Joker story, which I think was a really cool like 3-issue series. And you could maybe do something like that. Like, okay, like now you have, maybe Willem Dafoe is the Joker, and then some other character that is the Joker, and you don't know which one's real or which one's the actual Joker, or you don't know if Joaquin Phoenix is hallucinating any of this. So, playing to that aspect would be interesting, but it's just like, it's just, you get a little worried when a movie was that good and there weren't like, there weren't immediate plans to do a sequel, and now all of a sudden they're talking about a sequel. It's like, ooh, this is most likely going to be like a money grab.
Yeah,
but I hope not. But all those movies, The Dark Knight, Joker, the Nolan trilogy in general, the Batman, you know what they all have in common? No prequel series with comic books.
Yeah. Just give us the whole movie.
Just give us what we need to see, not a comic book series.
or add to it and split it up like they did Deathly Hallows. to Harry Potter.
True.
Because people will go see both, and you'll have 2 movies for one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But they won't do that now. It's definitely too late.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear? Speaking of, sorry, I just wanted to bring this up real quick. There was a test screening this past week for an upcoming DC movie, and
was it the Batman?
No. So the description of it was, I might get this wrong, but it was something along the lines of upcoming DC movie, and it was like action comedy. It said like action comedy DC movie or something. So a lot of people and a lot of people that do like the journalists or whatever that do the reviews, critics and stuff, they went into the movie expecting to see the Flash, and it turned out to be Shazam 2.
Oh wow!
And apparently, I didn't see the reviews, but apparently they like I was reading that people were pissed that they were like
really
and people wanted to like kind of call out DC because they said that they were like spreading out misinformation and all this stuff, but they never said the title. They just assumed that it was the Flash. It just said like, I think it said upcoming like action comedy DC movie or something.
Interesting.
And people were pissed, which I think is so funny because in no way or in nowhere in the title for the screening did it say the Flash, but people just assumed that it was the Flash.
Weird. Yeah, there's people tweeting about it. The test screening of the Flash will reportedly be going on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was not the Flash. It was funny. I was reading that on Twitter and it was pretty funny, but
that was DC, man. Fucking Warner Brothers.
Literally.
You guys suck. You guys suck at life.
This is like an ongoing segment that we're doing. We're just shitting on DC for like 20 minutes in the podcast. Sucks. It's kind of great. No, DC doesn't suck. Warner Brothers sucks. DC.
There's gotta be I'm sure we can get because I called EA Sports a while ago to file a complaint. I didn't get through to anybody because you need to know their full name and the extension, which is bullshit. They do that on purpose. But I bet you we could get to talk to someone at Warner Brothers. Somehow it would be very tricky to finesse a way to get transferred to Walter Hamada, but I would 100% go on the air and to talk to this guy, just ask him what it is he's doing over there.
What is the plan here? Just give us something.
You have to get a number to a security desk at one of the offices. You got to find out where this guy is, probably through LinkedIn. At what office or what studio, because they have many different studios.
Yeah, and then get in contact with security and try to work the way up.
When they answer, you have to make it seem as if you work there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, how's it going? It's whatever. And then you give them, you have to get a name, and they'll transfer you, and you just keep that MFer going.
Yeah, you just kind of climb that ladder until you reach the top.
That's right.
That would be so funny. That would be really funny. No, absolutely not. But it would be electric if it did. Okay, now switching gears. Tell the people what's coming to the big.
We don't really have much else to talk about. This isn't really of any substance. But
it's just funny
because our first podcast ever was about the Fast and the Furious. It's only fitting that we mentioned that Jason Momoa Aquaman has been cast in the next Fast and Furious, hopefully the last Fast and Furious.
No, they're doing 10 and 11. It's a 2-part series.
And 11?
So this is going to be a 2-part movie. So it's 10 is part 1 and 11's part 2. And then, but they don't even say that they're ending. They're saying that it's the end of the main, what's it called? Like the main kind of movie. And then they're going to break off into spinoffs.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, they figured out a formula that makes them some money.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, Jason Momoa is going to be the villain in at least the next one. We don't know about 11, but who's he going to be? The Rock's brother. We got John Cena. So. We got John Cena as Dom's brother. It's only fitting that Momoa is the Rock's brother. Because I think
what's interesting is in the Rock spinoff with
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, they kind of went back through Hobbs's like Hawaiian ancestry, kind of.
Samoan.
because Samoan ancestry.
Yeah.
So I could totally see them, because Jason Momoa is part Hawaiian. He's not Samoan, but you could totally have him play like someone related to Hobbs.
Yeah, definitely.
And just have him, and then they'll mention like, oh, Hobbs is off, like he's on Fiji or something, like he's living the life.
Well, Vin Diesel, remember you sent me the post that Vin Diesel like tweeted or made an Instagram
Yeah, I tried to get
post
The Rock
The
back.
Rock.
He said no.
Did he
The
say
Rock
no?
said no.
Oh, he did? I didn't know he said no. That's funny.
There's like beef between those guys. Like I don't know what it was. Something happened, I guess.
So it was because I think that they delayed Fast 7 or Fast 8 or something because of Paul Walker's death. Or no. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I said that wrong. They didn't delay it. They did not delay the movie.
Okay.
And they kept it on schedule. They kept it on schedule. The Fast and Furious movie, the last one with Paul Walker, they kept it on schedule to honor him and keep the movies going. And then Fast 8, I believe, was pushed back a year almost because they wanted to make Hobbs and Shaw. And then Vin Diesel and a bunch of the other cast members were really mad at The Rock because I think The Rock was the one that pushed for the movie to be pushed back and Hobbs and Shaw to be like slipped in right before. And they were like, we didn't even delay these movies after, Paul Walker passed because we wanted to keep them going and keep them on that schedule. And we pushed it back a whole year because you wanted to do a solo movie. And they were not happy with them. And I think that's where like a lot of the beef came from.
I mean, the movie series at this point, I mean, it's pretty garbage, but you don't go to this movie you go to be entertained with all the stupid
exactly. You got to be entertained.
I'm sure. I mean, he's an action star, so I'm sure that they'll
maybe
come up with something.
Maybe Momoa will convince The Rock to come back because they're both DC guys now.
No, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, and then James Gunn said that Guardians of the Galaxy 3, he confirmed that it'll be the last time we see, the original team, which makes sense because
those movies.
I can't believe you haven't watched them.
I think I've seen parts of the first one. I've never finished it.
But because we already know that Dave Bautista said he's gone after this movie, so we got to see who follows and leaves with them. And then who's this? Kyle Allen. I don't know who he is. He's an actor, but he was cast as the live action He-Man for Netflix. Because they're making a live action Masters of the Universe movie, which is pretty cool because the animated series they did, I think Kevin Smith directed it and like created it or whatever. It was pretty good. He was like in charge of that, but pretty cool. Oh, and then one last thing. I'm like ranting right now, but I'm trying to get all this information in. Tobey Maguire not done playing Spider-Man.
Yeah, he had an interview recently with
the three of them. Yeah, the three of them.
Yeah.
Pretty cool seeing them like together like that. Yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, he's not done, he says. So, which no one's like really surprised at because the rumors there are that he's in Doctor Strange too.
Yep. That would be epic to see that, and I'm sure the theater will erupt again.
Oh yeah, that's another movie where you have to go on opening night to experience it and then watch it again to understand it.
Yeah.
But anything else you got?
That's all I got. Not too much. Not too much going on.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully there's a little bit more news soon, or a little bit more, breaking news that can get the world excited.
We'll have the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, we'll have that wrapped up. Have you caught up with Peacemaker?
No.
Yeah, hopefully once you catch
the second episode.
God, once maybe after the series is over, we'll do like a overall review for it.
A retrospective.
Yeah. But that's all we got for you guys today. So hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.